So honored to be the president of the Junior League of Bergen County for 2020 and 2021. It was roughly 10 years ago that I transferred to the Junior League of Bergen County from New York City, and I am proud to have been a part of this league and everything that we have accomplished over the last years that I've been involved and long before I ever even heard of the Junior League of Bergen County. If you want to identify the biggest issues that any society faces, you don't have to look any further than the newspaper headlines. And the United States is no different. Dominant political corruption and the abuse of power, followed by endless episodes of racism, bigotry, the persecution of people for their religious beliefs, horrific living conditions, and treatment of immigrants, rampant poverty, and a huge divide between the haves and the have-nots that creates a massive divide in the educational opportunities afforded to the children within these groups. A cycle of poverty repeated by generation after generation, with only the occasional outlier able to rise above the cards they are dealt. While it probably sounds like I'm describing the news headlines of 2020, I'm actually talking about 1901 and the environment that a young Mary Harriman found herself living in, an environment that motivated her to take action and to look to effect meaningful change beyond just the token church donations so commonplace among the upper class she was a part of at the time. Mary Harriman had the ability to truly see the society she was part of, not just the way it was, but the way she believed it could be. While it would have been easy to turn a blind eye and live the life and she was entitled to and granted as the daughter of a railroad magnate, E.H. Harriman, Mary had a deep sense of responsibility and a desire to help the most at-risk portion of society. Instead of merely throwing money at the problem, she recruited her friends, spurring them all to roll up their sleeves and make a real hands-on effort to help those in need. An endeavor that began by going into New York City's tenement houses to try and help the residents living in crammed, filthy, and often dangerous conditions. It was this collection of debutantes and their shared desire to aid the most underserved population of their community that went on to become what was initially known as the Junior League for the Promotion of the Settlement Movement, a group that included a young Eleanor Roosevelt among its early members. As a side note, I thought you might like to know Eleanor Roosevelt was not the only first lady to grace our ranks. Other Junior League volunteers who went on to become first ladies include Barbara Bush, Laura Bush, Betty Ford, and Nancy Reagan. And a few other notable Junior League members over the years have included Shirley Temple Black, Julia Child, Katharine Hepburn, Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female justice of the Supreme Court, and even Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch of the West. In the years since Mary Harriman rallied her friends, the Junior League has grown into a small army of women driven to serve their communities. Today, there are 291 individual junior leagues comprising more than 140,000 women in the United States, Canada, Mexico, and the UK. And of course, the league has undergone significant changes since its inception. Though many people may still associate the Junior League with pearl-clad ladies who lunch, in reality we are an incredibly diverse group of women who cross all social, ethnic, and economic groups. Though admittedly, pearls still seem to hold a place in the heart of many junior leaguers, as evidenced by the attendees of any AJLI conference can tell you. We are single career women, working moms, and stay-at-home moms. We are white, black, Indian, Asian, and countless other ethnicities. We are mothers, daughters, wives, and friends. And in the case of that last category, it is no coincidence that most league members count fellow Junior League volunteers among their dearest acquaintances, and we are not necessarily junior. While previous Junior League volunteers were forced to hang up their pearls at the ripe old age of 40, that age restriction was lifted in the early 1990s, and today's league members range from college-age women to those long retired, all connected by a shared sense and desire to better the communities they are part of and to help foster future leaders in the nonprofit world. So while we may be far from the group of debutantes Mary Harriman first inspired to help New York City's struggling immigration population, and the projects and activities that we undertake may look quite different today, the fundamental pillars she built the league upon remain intact. Unfortunately, one thing that doesn't look different in 2020 is the uphill battle we face as a league as we look to execute our mission in the year ahead. 2020. It's a year that has already presented us with so many obstacles, challenges, and negative scenarios that it might as well be Webster's latest addition to the list of the profanities for this year. And it's no coincidence that it would be a 4-letter character entry. Fortunately, Junior League women have spent the last 119 years demonstrating that we do not shy away from challenges. While the year ahead of us certainly won't look like any other league year that any of us have experienced, I am confident we can still find numerous and meaningful ways to serve our community, just in different ways than any of us initially imagined. Hands-on initiatives such as helping out at QMAC or meeting with the single mothers at Zoe's Place will have to give way to virtual alternatives. But make no doubt, we are working on putting together viable projects that can make a meaningful impact. Social events such as this evening, Gretchen's slightly delayed 2020 annual dinner, GMMs, and our fall fundraiser have also had to be reinvented, but the coronavirus will not stop them, and we will continue to find ways to gather socially, even if doing so necessitates the use of that other 4-letter word that we've all come to dread over the past 6 months, Zoom. And though social distancing will remain critical throughout the league year ahead, it does not mean we automatically have to throw in the towel on all our hands-on initiatives. In the wake of COVID-19, the JLBC's focus on resilience remains as important as ever, if not more so, as more people struggle with the financial hardships that have resulted from the need for long-term social distancing. Since this league year officially kicked off in June, the JLBC has already managed to undertake a handful of initiatives during what are typically our quiet summer months. Unable to execute some of the projects that were originally planned for last spring due to the need for social distancing, we shifted gears and donated $2,500 to Children's Aid and Family Services to benefit their Baby Basics program and enable them to purchase thousands of diapers for families in need, along with a second $2,500 donation to QMAC to help replenish pantry supplies amidst widespread furloughs and layoffs in the early days of the pandemic. We also put together a community matching campaign that enabled us to donate $2,000 worth of non-perishable food staples, fresh produce, cleaning items, and toiletries to Ridgecrest Senior Housing. We collected roughly 150 phone chargers and baby monitors from the community that were sanitized and passed on to area hospitals on behalf of COVID patients who might otherwise be unable to communicate with family members while hospitalized, and to assist nursing staff members to better monitor patients suffering from the virus. And we held a webinar focused on diversity and inclusion that was open to the community at large and which addressed the topic of unity, diversity, inclusion, and allyship. While the calendar of events for the months ahead is still in the works, there are numerous things that have already been added to the JLBC's to-do list for this year. Next week, we will be holding our second training of the league year, which has again been open to the community at large. This time the topic is Your Career Marathon, a presentation that will address many of the challenges of balancing working from home with social distancing, along with previously unimagined issues such as homeschooling or sharing the work environment with a spouse or other family members. We are also working on scheduling a cleanup garden project for a local veteran community and are in the process of working out logistics for a Thanksgiving food drive, an effort that will likely be met with greater need this holiday season than any time before. Other projects already on the docket for the year ahead include the Family Promise Shelter Dinner, the creation of a usable green area for Head Start Community Program Camp YDP in the spring, and an altered version of Little Black Dress that is a bit more fitting with everyone's remote work situations, possibly a mask or another variation such as yoga pants. To make the campaign even more impactful, it is one that we will be engaging in at the same time as multiple other junior leagues within New Jersey. And the Community Impact Committee is hard at work trying to adopt the Set Sail project for a new community partner and to hopefully create a virtual version of the program that can serve a larger portion of our local community. Like the women who came before us, I am optimistic that our league will come together and successfully rise above any challenges that we are met with in the year ahead. but the key to doing so is working together. So despite the unique challenges and circumstances that we are all struggling to deal with in the midst of this seemingly endless pandemic, I hope that everyone will do their best to remain actively involved with the league this year and to help out wherever and however you can. For some, that may mean helping to organize and participate in remote activities, while others may be more comfortable attending any socially distanced events we are able to hold. No matter what we do, safety of our members will remain our top priority as a league. And as we strive to think outside the box and find ways that we can serve the community without creating any unnecessary risks, I hope that many of you will help us with our efforts to come up with ideas for how we can do so. The 2020-2021 league year will be one for the books. So let's do our best to make it a year that will be memorable for how we all came together and rise above the challenges ahead of us.